love that. And everybody that listens to the show loves that. That's why we all listen to the show.
Chuck Douglas is on.
Almost 7 minutes past the hour. It is 5:06 and almost 5:07 on this Friday, January 18th. You have extremely good taste to be listening right now to Chuck Douglas Radio on 98.9 FM. The Answer. Cory Durbin in for Chuck. Third day in a row. But Chuck is making progress, I promise. And with any luck, hopefully he will be back next week sometime. If you want to follow him on Facebook and friend him on Facebook and Twitter, you can keep up with live updates on how his progress is going. Of course, you can always follow the official Chuck Douglas Radio Show fan page, and you can friend his Chuck Douglas friend page as well. You can also follow him on Twitter, Chuck Douglas 989. And if you want to send him an email, I know some of you people do that still, chuckd@989theanswer.com. If you want to get in touch with me, I'll pretty much answer anywhere. I'm on Twitter the most, at TheRealDurbs, TheRealDurbs. I'm also on Facebook, at least during the show. You can find me on Facebook, Cory, Cory, Durbin, Durbin. And if you want to email me, it would be CoryD, CoryD, @SalemColumbus.com. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, got a couple updates from some stories we've talked about the last few days. First of all, if you talk about it enough, it will come true, or it will come back into the news. And we just talked about North Korea yesterday and how nobody's been talking about it for a year now, maybe 6 months to a year. Nobody's talked about North Korea because things are going well. So the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear anything about it right now until things in the future go bad, if they do go bad. Then it'll be in your face, of course. But it was just announced today that President Trump will meet with Kim Jong-un at the end of February, and they have not announced a meeting place or an exact date yet. But Trump did meet for an hour and a half with North Korean envoy Kim Young-chol this afternoon to discuss denuclearization and the second summit. So look for that to come up here in February, Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un. And, we talked about it yesterday about how it's not been in the news, and now all of a sudden, Trump's going to be meeting with him next month. Funny how that works. Also, another recall. This wouldn't be Chuck Douglas Radio if I didn't bring you the recall of the day. We need a sponsor for that. The recall of the day. Today's recall is Purdue Chicken Nuggets. Purdue is recalling more than 68,000 pounds of chicken nuggets. And get this, because they may be contaminated with wood. They're gluten-free and organic breaded chicken breast nuggets. They were produced back on October 25th. They've been sold at stores nationwide. So you very well could be in possession of these Purdue Simply Smart Organic Chicken Breast Nuggets. That's what the package says. And the USDA says Purdue received 3 complaints that wood was found in the nuggets, and but no confirmed reports of adverse reactions. Nobody severely injured, but you don't want to be biting into your nuggets and get a splinter in your tongue or something. That would be bad. Nobody wants that. That would be a horrible day. Also, Bird Box. I mentioned yesterday that some company out of Canada or some organization out of Canada said, hey, Bird Box, you used real footage from a train wreck that killed 47 people here in Canada. That's very offensive to us. You need to take this out of the movie. And Netflix said today, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave the movie as it is. And the actual footage of a real train wreck that killed 47 people in Canada is going to remain in the movie Bird Box. So there you have it. Those are the kind of some updates from some stories we've talked about throughout the week. Now today, coming up at 5:30, Kaylee McEnany. She's been on with Chuck several times before. She's on Fox News quite a bit. Used to work for CNN. She is now an RNC national spokeswoman. She'll be on at 5:30 to talk about the budget deal, the budget crisis, the government shutdown. I might ask her about the wall just a little bit, just because I like the varying perspectives. I've asked both guests so far this week about what's going to happen with the wall down there and that situation, so I may ask her about that as well. But I saw a story today where someone went as far as to say, if we don't get the government working soon, planes are just going to start crashing. Because the people in charge of keeping planes up to speed, the mechanics, they're just going to stop working and stop doing their job. Well, call me crazy, but I would hope that even if you're not getting paid right now, you'd still do your job so people don't die correctly. They're not just going to say, this engine's going to fall off on the next flight. We'll just let it go out there and fly around. It's no big deal. Maybe I have too much faith in people, but I don't think that'll happen. But according to one source, planes are going to start crashing out of the air if we don't figure out a budget here. Also got a ton of other stuff. Generation Z. I've been meaning to get to this for the last 2 days. Now, we're going to get to it today, finally, I hope. Generation Z. So that's people aged 13 to 21. So if you were born in 1996 to, 2003 or 4? That's Generation Z. They may be the most liberal demographic yet. We've got to get into that because that's going to fire some people up, because a lot of these issues I'm seeing with this generation being so liberal, it's just going back to parenting, simple parenting issues and the way they're being raised. So we'll get into that. Also, emotional support animals. There's a new one. There's a new emotional support animal out there. One guy wants to take his into a nursing home, and you're never going to believe this. And if you've been listening to this show for more than a month, you know the animal that I hate most, that I think needs to be extinct from the earth. And this guy's using this type of animal for emotional support. I don't understand this. The liberal agenda's back at it again. D.C. restaurant has been fined over a transgender bathroom ordeal. Wait till you hear this story. I don't even want to read it necessarily because it's Friday and I don't want to make you mad, but if we have time, we'll get into that. California homeless camps are beginning to cause a major toxic discharge in the environment. So these homeless camps where people are just crapping all over the place and peeing in the streets and throwing their garbage. Well, now it's starting to get into the streams and the water system out there, the ecosystem, and it's causing a very toxic discharge. We'll get into that. And I've got a few sports topics to get into involving Ohio State if we have time. But the main topics today, also I might have some Friday leftovers, things that I haven't gotten to all week. Got a few of those stories. But the main topics for today, it is Hot Topic or Hot Take Friday. If you have an opinion that nobody else agrees with, just an unpopular opinion, it can be about anything. It can be about sports, politics. I'll give you a few here of mine coming up in a minute. But if you have a topic that you say, here's my opinion on this, and people just look at you like you're crazy, I want to hear what that is. What is your unpopular opinion? Just kind of a frivolous topic, but we all have them. We all have that one thing that we feel so strongly about, and everybody else just disagrees. I love those kinds of topics. I'll give mine in a minute. And then what else did I have here? I lost my little agenda. But that's going to be the main kind of frivolous Friday topic. And then, of course, the guest coming up at 5:30. So we've got that for you. Now, here's my hot takes, and I've got a couple of them. Now, this hot take, when this guy died, I think it was last year, I came into the studio and I said, look, Chuck, I like a couple of his songs, but Tom Petty was so far overrated. It's not even like... Tom Petty is maybe the most overrated musician ever. Maybe it's because I'm young and I came on the back end of his career, which was awful, by the way. But I think Tom Petty was so overrated. How did he even get to be that famous? I understand his music was a little different and he did something different in the music industry that nobody had done before and had a different sound. I get it. But he was just not good. Another hot take of mine, I actually enjoy it when people are obnoxiously chewing their gum around me. For whatever reason, that sound is actually soothing to me. And we've talked about soothing sounds before on this show. I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Chuck and I got into it. One of my favorite sounds of all time is keyboard typing. I could sit and listen to somebody type on a keyboard for hours. So as you're giving me your hot take of the day, maybe you have a soothing sound that you like to hear. Mine is obnoxious gum chewing. That's a hot take and a soothing sound for me. And here's one. And guys, look, I have a beautiful girlfriend, so maybe she's just ruined me for looking at other women. And guys, if you're driving and listening right now, you may drive off the road when I say this, but Marilyn Monroe was downright average. There is nothing special to me about Marilyn Monroe. I don't think she was as gorgeous and hot and beautiful as everyone makes her out. I don't. She's fine. You know, she's fine. I don't think she's ugly or anything like that, but she's just overrated, man. Overrated. I also hate it. This is more of a pet peeve. I hate it when you say, hey, man, what's up? And somebody says, good. Good is not a response to the question, what's up? Good is a response to, how are you? Good. You don't say good when someone asks you, what's up? What's up, good? It just makes my brain want to explode. Don't say good when someone says, what's up? I hear people do it on a daily basis. It drives me crazy. Now, Aaron, I have asked you, this has been my only request of the entire week, other than to keep the show on the air. I have asked you to come prepared with a hot take. What's your hot take?
All right, I've got one for you.
All right.
It has to do with sports.
All right.
All sports, all regular season sports, except for football, are unwatchable.
Really?
Regular season.
Well.
Baseball, no. Basketball, no. Hockey, no.
Now, I will say, I love watching sports, preseason, regular season, whatever. But the more I think about what you just said, I could almost get behind it. Because I'll watch any sport, but am I really into it all year long until the playoffs? Probably not. Unless it's Kentucky basketball or football or the Browns, or like if it's my team. But if I'm just watching the Rams versus the Chargers, I don't care. I'll watch it, but I don't care. If it's the playoffs, maybe I'll be a little... So, that is a hot take, I'll admit. But the more I think about it, the more I kind of agree with it.
All right.
Get in line with your hot takes. We've got phones ringing already. 844-825-5989. 844-TALK-989. We'll be right back. This is Chuck Douglas Radio.